Vincent, AstraZeneca today made a small acquisition. It seems that quite a lot of the industry is making acquisitions at the moment. What's sort of going on with the sector?
Well, there's a lot of activity on the M&A front at the sort of bottom end of the pharma and healthcare sector. We've seen some significant mid-sized deals over the last few weeks. I mean, Valeant, for example, yesterday bought Bausch Lomb in the healthcare sector. That was a $9 billion deal. There was a deal 2 weeks ago for Actavis to buy Warner Chilcott, which is another sort of $8.5 billion deal. So you have deals going on at that level. They're sort of among the wider healthcare sector and in generics or things like that. And then you have, in AstraZeneca's case, a specific purchase of a small US company that makes a particular drug that it wants to add onto its own portfolio. So you have activity in specialty and generics and in healthcare, but I think the very large pharma companies are untouched by that at the moment.
Right, so this really is just sort of bolt-on acquisitions and nothing sort of going on a large scale. So where does this leave big pharma at the moment?
Well, I think it still leaves it at the crossroads. I mean, it has the patent cliff still hanging over it. Maybe the worst of the patent cliff is over. I mean, there was the period between 2010 and 2015 is regarded as the sort of worst of the patent cliff in terms of its impact on revenues and profits. Things could improve fairly rapidly after that, but that's what the industry faces, and that's an R&D question. That's the kind of money they spend on research and development to get themselves out of that. Or they do like AstraZeneca does, which is to buy a particular drug to bolt onto their own portfolios. I suspect there will be a lot more of that actually over the next couple of years.
Okay, so overall it's sort of a little bit of a lull, but where does this leave valuations then?
Well, I think valuations are, they've come back a lot over the last 4 years. I mean, the low point for big pharma really was March 2009, and they're now back. A lot of the share prices have doubled since then. I think it's still relatively attractive from a valuation perspective. It's not expensive looking. It's a defensive sector as well as everything else, and it's a good dividend yield, for example, out of a lot of these pharma company stocks. I think there's a lot more to go in pharma actually.
So overall, big pharma at the moment is heading away from the patent cliff, and we're just sort of seeing a series of bolt-on acquisitions. Thanks, Vincent.